Good morning, friends. My name is Manoj Kumar Chitale, Assistant Professor at Hira Sugar Institute of Technology, NetSoci. Today, we people are going to discuss a module 3 that deals with the bandwidth utilization, where we people are using two approaches. One is a multiplexing and a spreading here. In a real life, we have links that have a limited bandwidth, and we people are interested in how wisely we utilize this available bandwidth. In certain cases, we need to combine the low bandwidth channels to make use of one channel with a larger bandwidth. In some time, we need to expand the bandwidth of a channel so that we can achieve some goals like privacy and anti-jamming. The bandwidth utilization is the wise use of a available bandwidth to achieve specific goals. Efficiency can be achieved by multiplexing. Privacy and anti-jamming can be achieved by spreading. Multiplexing. Whenever the bandwidth of a medium linking two devices is greater than the bandwidth needs of devices, the link can be shared. Multiplexing is a set of techniques. Multiplexing is a set of a technique that allows a simultaneous transmission of multiple signals across a single data link. As data and telecommunication use increases, so does the traffic. Here we people are going to discuss 4 topics, that is a frequency division multiplexing, wavelength division multiplexing, as well as synchronous TDM, that is a time division multiplexing, statistical time division multiplexing. Here we have if you look at this particular scenario, we have a one link whose bandwidth is larger than the combined bandwidth of these input stations or input lines here. On that case, most of the time we people are wasting the bandwidth, the available bandwidth here. A solution what we people are using here is that is a multiplexing. Here in case of a multiplexing, we have input channels. We have input lines. The bandwidth requirement of these input lines are very low, very low, and the available bandwidth here, that is we have the larger bandwidth we have at this particular point. Okay, so to utilize this bandwidth effectively, what we people are doing, we people are multiplexing these low bandwidth channels. Okay, here in a multiplexed system, we have n input lines we have a n input lines. These lines share the bandwidth of this one link. At the left side, we have a n input lines. These input lines share the bandwidth of this one link here. This one link is divided into n number of channels. At the left hand side, we have n input lines. These input lines are having a low bandwidth requirements, or channels, we can say that, and these are multiplexed into a single stream. Once you fed this input lines through this multiplexer, that simply combines them into a single stream, that is a many to one, we can say that, and we people are transmitting those signals over this physical link, we can say that. At the receiving end, we people are using a demultiplexer. Okay, that stream is simply fed through this demultiplexer, which separates that stream into components, and we people are delivering or direct these components to the proper the output lines here. Here we have a one link that is in turn divided into n number of a channel. This link is nothing but it's a physical path, okay, between the stations, and this channel is nothing but it's a portion of a link that carries a transmission between a pair of lines here. When it comes to multiplexing, we have three methods. One is a frequency division multiplexing, wavelength division multiplexing. The third one is a time division multiplexing. These two approaches are analog, that is analog methods, and this one is a digital one. In case of this frequency division multiplexing, as we already discussed, it is a analog approach, and we people are using this approach whenever the bandwidth of this link, that is in terms of a hertz, that is greater than the combined bandwidth of these the signals that needs to be transmitted. Here the signals that are generated by each sending devices are simply these sending devices modulates the carrier frequency, that is a different carrier frequency we people are using here, okay, and each sending device that generates a signal that modulates these carrier frequencies, and these carrier frequencies, these carrier frequencies are combined into a composite signal that can be transported over this link here. These carrier frequencies are separated by a sufficient bandwidth to accommodate a modulated signal here. Here we have a channel, that a channel is divided into we have a link, that link is divided into n number of a channel, and these channels are separated by guard bands, so that we can prevent this signal from overlapping with each other. FDM is a analog multiplexing technique that combines the analog signals here. Here if you look at this multiplexing process, At the at the left hand side, we have input lines where each station is generating the signal. These signals are these signal modulates the carrier frequency, so that we people are getting the modulated signal here. Okay, each input line that generates a signal that modulates this carrier frequency here. We people are using a different carrier frequencies. Okay, once we got the modulated signal, these modulated signal are combined so that we can generate the composite signal here, and we people are transmitting this composite signal over the physical link here, over this physical link. And at the receiving side, these composite signal, that is we have a demultiplexer that receives the composite signal and passes this composite signal through this filter that simply decomposes this composite signal into components, and these components are passed through this demodulator. Okay, so that at the output lines, we people are getting the signals that are sent by the input lines here. Assume that a voice channel occupies a bandwidth of 4 kilohertz. We need to combine 3 voice channels into a link with a bandwidth of 12 kilohertz from 20 kilohertz to 32 kilohertz. Show the configuration using the frequency domain. Assume there are no guard bands. Here the available bandwidth is nothing but a 12 kilohertz bandwidth we people are having, and we have a voice channel that the voice channel have a bandwidth requirement of 4 kilohertz. Okay, here what we people are doing, I need to modulate these voice channels here. In the sense, we need to shift each of these 3 voice channel to a different bandwidth. Okay, if you look at this particular figure, we people are able to understand. This is a one voice signal. This is the another signal that is generated by the second station, and this is the generated by the third signal. Here we people are using the carrier frequency that shifts this particular signal in the frequency range of 20 to 24. The second signal is shifted shifted to 24 to 28 kilohertz of bandwidth, and the third signal is shifted to this particular frequency range here. Okay, if you combine it, we people are creating a composite signal. That composite signal is transported through the over the physical link here. Once a demultiplexer receive it, it passes through these band pass filters that decomposes them into component signals here. Okay, and after that these components are passed through the modulator, so that these informations are separated properly, and we people are direct them to the appropriate output line here. Appropriate output line here. 5 channels with each 100 kilohertz of a bandwidth are to be multiplexed together. What is the minimum bandwidth of the link if there is a need for a guard band of a 10 kilohertz between the channels to prevent interference? If you look at this particular scenario, we have a 100 kilohertz of a bandwidth, that is we have 5 channels, and the bandwidth requirement is 100 kilohertz. Okay, these are nothing but 5 channels we have, and to separate these channels, we need a guard band of 10 kilohertz. Okay, for that purpose we need around 4 guard bands here. Okay, Uh, for a 5 channels, we need at least 4 guard bands here. This means the required bandwidth is nothing but 5 into 100 plus 4 into 10. We need a 40 kilohertz of a bandwidth for a guard band purpose only. Okay, 10 kilohertz between these channels. Okay, the total bandwidth, the minimum bandwidth, okay, of this particular link is nothing but 540 kilohertz. For data channels, each transmitting at a 1 Mbps use a satellite channel of a 1 megahertz. Here we people are trying to design an appropriate configuration using FDM. The satellite channel is an analog. We can divide it into 4 channels. Okay, each channel is having 250 kilohertz of a bandwidth. Each digital channel of a 1 Mbps, that is modulated such that 4-bit information or 4 bits is modulated to 1 hertz here. The one simple solution what we people are using, that is 16 quadrature amplitude modulation technique we people are using here. That is 1 Mbps information we people are having at the input connection. Suppose if you modulate these input connections by using this a modulation technique, that is a 16 a quadrature amplitude modulation technique, we people are generating a signal with a bandwidth of a 250 kilohertz. Now these 250 kilohertz kilohertz bandwidth signals are multiplexed by using a FDM, so that we people are able to achieve are able to transmit this combined information over a 1 megahertz of a link over a link that has a 1 megahertz of a bandwidth here. If you look at how the telephone companies have traditionally multiplexing these signals from a lower bandwidth lines to a higher bandwidth lines, we have a 12 voice channel, and the bandwidth requirement of this channel is nothing but 4 kilohertz. Okay, these 12 input lines are multiplexed so that we can create a group. Okay, and the capacity of this group is nothing but 48 kilohertz here, that able to provide or able to support 12 voice channels. These 5 groups are multiplexed so that we can create a super group here. This one super group is able to provide service for 60 voice channels here. Okay, and what is the bandwidth we people are getting at this particular stage? That is a 240 kilohertz. These 10 super groups are multiplexed together to create a master group with the capacity of this particular the bandwidth of this one particular master group is nothing but a 2.52 megahertz here, and this one master group supports 600 voice channels here. These 6 master groups are multiplexed so that we can create a one jumbo group that is able to provide services for 3600 voice channels with a bandwidth of a 16.984 megahertz here. Okay, in turn that consists some sort of a guard bands also. And if you look at some sort of applications that are associated with this FDM technique is, you can use it in case of AM and FM radio broadcasting. We can use this FDM mechanism or a technique in case of a television broadcasting. We can use this particular approach when it comes to the cellular telephone also. That in turn, that is the first generation of a cellular telephony uses this FDM mechanism only. Here what we people are doing when it comes to this cellular telephone, each user is assigned with two 30 kilohertz of a channel here. One for sending voice signal, another one for a receiving purpose. Each voice signal, if you look at the bandwidth requirement of this voice signal, that has only 3 kilohertz. Okay, and this signal is modulated by using the IFM, that is a frequency modulation. Okay, when it comes to this frequency modulation, we need bandwidth that is 10 times 10 times than the original one, or an input signal. For that purpose, we people need to assign, that is 3 into 10, that is nothing but a 30 kilohertz of a bandwidth for a sending purpose, and 30 kilohertz for the receiving purpose. When it comes to the implementation, FDM, we can implement this FDM mechanism very easily. In case of a radio as well as a television broadcasting, we don't need a physical multiplexer as well as a demultiplexer. Suppose if the station agree to use a different carrier frequency, on that case we can say that a multiplexing is achieved. In case of a cellular telephony, the base station should and must assign this carrier frequency to the station here, so that the original signal modulates the carrier frequency here. The another example we people are having here, the advanced mobile phone system, that is AMPS, uses two bands. The first band of 824 megahertz to 849, this is a one band, is used for a sending. Another band we people are having 869 to 894 megahertz, that is used for receiving. Each user has a bandwidth of 30 kilohertz in each direction. How many people can use their cellular phones simultaneously? If you look at this particular scenario, each band is a 25 megahertz. Okay, that is 849 minus 824. Okay, we'll get a 25 megahertz band here. If you divide this 25 megahertz band by 30 kilohertz, on that case you people are getting around 832 here. But in reality, the band is divided into 832 channels. Out of this 832, 42 channels are used for a control, and the control information, which means the remaining 790 channels are available for a cellular phone users here. When it comes to this cellular network, we people have already discussed, that is a 60 kilohertz of a bandwidth is allocated for each user, that is 30 kilohertz for a transmission and a 30 kilohertz for receiving purpose. And when it comes to the cellular telephony, the base station should and must allocate or assign the carrier frequency to the telephone users here. And when it comes to this cellular telephony, the available bandwidth is a very limited one, and even we need to utilize this available bandwidth very efficiently. For that purpose, whenever the user terminates the call, the channel or the frequency or the carrier frequencies are assigned for another station here. The next one, we have the wavelength division multiplexing. Even it is a analog technique, and this wavelength division multiplexing uses the high data rate capability of the fiber optic cable here. In the sense, we people are using the optical cables and we people are transmitting our information in the form of a light. This optical fiber, the data rate is higher than the data rate of a metallic transmission cables. Using one fiber optic cable for one single line waste the available bandwidth. For that purpose, we people are using the multiplexing here. Okay, this multiplexing allows to combine the several input lines here. Okay, when it comes to this wavelength division multiplexing, even it is very similar to the FDM only. Here, when it comes to multiplexing as well as demultiplexing, we people are using optical signals that are transmitted through these channels, that is fiber optic channels. The same idea we people are using. Okay, we people are combining signals of different frequencies. Okay, here if you look at this particular the FDM, that is a WDM, that multiplexer as well as a demultiplexer here we people are using. We have a very narrow band of a light from different sources, and we need to combine them so that we can transmit that information or the data over a wider band, band of a light here. Okay, at the receiver side, these signals are separated by using the demultiplexer. Here, the WDM is a analog multiplexing technique to combine the optical signals. Here, at the multiplexer size as well as a demultiplexer size, we people are using the frequency, and here we have we want to combine the multiple light sources into single light at the transmitter, and the reverse operation that takes place at the demultiplexing side. And this combining as well as splitting the light of a source can be easily performed or handled by using this multiplexer, that is nothing but a prism. Okay, we people have already know the properties of a light. Okay, here you can bend a beam of a light based on this incident angle, and you can separate them based on a frequency also, angle of incidence and a frequency. And this demultiplexer, that is a prism that separates them based on the frequency here. And this particular wavelength division multiplexing is used in a SONET, that is a synchronous optical network. Here we multiple optical fiber lines are multiplexed and demultiplexed. Another one approach in case another application, that is a dense wavelength division multiplexing, where we can multiplex a very large number of channels by spacing channels very close to each other. Okay, that is because just to improve the efficiency of the of these fiber optic channels only. In the next class, we people are going to discuss about this time division multiplexing. Thank you.